I'd like to call to order the Smithfield Town Council meeting. Town Clerk, can you put us in a prayer and a pledge, please?
Lord, as the by Holy Spirit of counsel, all those who are serving in positions of authority and responsibility. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Here.
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 All right, move on to open forum. Does anyone wish to speak?
Mike Clifford, 489 Black Plain Road. Just a couple of things. When the MBRTF gives you their new proposals next time, could, the last time the diagrams and the floor designs didn't have the square footage marked on the plans themselves. You had to go to a different appendix in the report to read it. Could you just make sure and make a request that they actually include the square footage on the diagrams of the floor plans themselves so we can compare it more easily than it was to compare last time? And secondly, Mr. Irrigad's not here tonight, but I was here to ask my monthly question. Where's the letter from the bond counsel that he promised me, and he said he'd get it to us? So it's like the fourth month I've shown up to ask for that, but unfortunately he's not here tonight. It's the only reason I came was to ask him where it was. The reeval, I'm just still hung up on the reevaluation that was done, and I find it very, the more I look at it, the more I just can't believe that we just paid the money and walked away. I mean, that reeval cost $194,000, I believe. That was for a full reeval. And in a full reeval, they normally knock on your door and say, can I come in? They didn't even do that. And I'm wondering if, you know, did the tax assessor look at the breakdown of the houses and the categories that they fell in, how many increased by, how many stayed constant? You know, she said, I think at the meeting that she was here, the last time she was here, she gave a presentation, she said 433 homes didn't change in value, and 300 went down in value. That's 733 homes. Is that typical? Is that percentage typical in a normal reevaluation? Because I find it very hard to believe that, especially in this market, that's a reality, that 733 homes out of 4,500 didn't go up in value, but actually went down. And since they're going to be paying less in taxes, unquestionably, because our tax rate is going to drop, but they're going to be paying less because their values went down. The other homeowners in the town are going to be picking up the share of revenue that came from those properties as well before they went down in value. So I just don't understand why we're not sitting down and comparing it and somebody doing an analysis to see was it a valid reeval, rather than just paying the money and walking on and saying, oh well, you know. There's a provision in that agreement, I believe, that requires them to pay us $25 per property that wasn't fully evaluated, that the evaluation was incomplete on. I'd say if they didn't come in my house, the evaluation was incomplete. I'd like to know how many houses they did go into. How many houses did they ask to go into? I've yet to meet someone who they went into the house, you know, on their own invitation. It was like what you were saying last month. You called and said, hey, no, I only have 5, you know, come over here and check this out. You've got the numbers wrong. But they were supposed to come to your door, make an appointment, knock on and say, can I come in and see the inside? They didn't even do that. So why did we pay that money if that's included in the job that they were supposed to perform? And I know, you know, there was some acknowledgement last month at the meeting that, yeah, maybe they didn't do that great of a job, but okay, when somebody doesn't do a great job repairing my car or something, I go back to them. And I look for the adjustment, you know, or have it fixed somewhere else and get them to pay the bill for it. But it's just because it's taxpayers' money doesn't mean we should just walk away if they did a lousy job. Or at least see, did they do a lousy job? By a nice analytical review. I'd like to check, you know, the other towns and cities in Rhode Island to see, did they have that many homes that went down in value or that stayed the same? Is this typical for all the areas that went through a full reeval this year? Not a statistical where they just drive by? This to me was a drive-by, which you pay much less for. And that's what we should have been paying for this, not a full reeval. So I'm just, again, wondering if anybody has asked the tax assessor if she looked at those numbers in some type of breakdown and did any type of study or comparisons with other communities to see, was this really that screwed up or was it okay? Because I think it was really screwed up. Sorry. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say that I did call and speak to the company because I did appeal my parents' property, and they did say that they didn't go into any properties because of COVID, unless they were specifically asked.
That was on the contract? They weren't to go in because of COVID?
It was part of the bid process. All the bids that went out this year from the whole entire state said they had a declaration on there about COVID, on the RFP.
So if they didn't have to do an interior inspection, why did we have to pay what we paid?
I don't know what it really consists of, so I can't say what they did differently than the 3-year one, but I do know that the RFP that went out with the bid specification had a little wording in there about COVID, and it was universal for the whole state.
Well, I can't believe we paid for that.
But I don't know what, like, I don't know what else from myself.
I think once since I moved it.
Oh, no, I've always got it.
You know, I had a thing on my door for them to need to call them if I wanted them to come in, but.
Anyone else for public forum? Open forum? Okay, move on to the next item. Smithfield Town Council sitting as Board of License Commissioners. A, discussion by council vote or other action on mobile food truck license Alejandro Arteaga, DBA Poligi's Ice Cream.
Madam President,
Mr. Vadney?
I make a motion that we approve the mobile food truck license for Pelagi's Ice Cream. I submitted, it has all the appropriate sign-offs on it.
There's a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call? Yes.
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 Thank you. Old business A, discussion by council vote or other action on update of Halliwell Review Committee. Mr. Corriveau?
The only update that we have from last meeting is we're putting together a Google submission form for the committee members to do research and submit that way collectively on any grants that are available out there. We were scheduled to meet this Thursday, however, that meeting has been canceled for lack of items to discuss, but we're going to pick up next month and discuss our findings of the grants.
Thank you. Is that it?
That's all.
Next one, old business B, discussion by council vote or other action on update of Municipal Building Review Task Force. Mr. Nordstrom?
Okay. Good evening. In your package, what I tried to do is show a revised site plan that Tecton has been working with us on, and compare that to the original site plan from last September, last fall. Unfortunately, I don't have the graphic ability to lay one on top of each other. But if you look at them side by side, I wanted to give you a flavor on what's going on. The original plan, the building was a little bit over 22,000 square feet. The municipal court training conference room was about a little less than 1,800 square feet. It was for a staffing of 27 people. But it was a pretty crowded site. If you look at the revised site plan, you can see that there's quite a bit more spacing between the old building and the new building, which presumably would help with the transition from one building to the other. There might be enough space between the buildings that you can construct a new facility while the old building is still being used. It's right now approximately 17,000 square feet, but you'll notice up on the top middle of the page, it says outbuilding. That's a cold garage. They have electricity, but that's where they can store their equipment and do the, can't remember what you do with the, when you confiscate a vehicle and have to do impoundment, yeah. There still is space for a municipal court training, but it's substantially less. It's about 400 square feet less. It's now a little bit less than 1,400 square feet. What we're trying to do with Tecton is have the building set up in such a way that in the future, if you need to be expanded, it can be expanded. So I don't have the floor plan, and actually Tecton is working on the elevations where they can show what the building looks like from the 4 different sides. But if you imagine, at least at this point in time, on the Merrimack Street side, the training, courtroom, all that will be just on the first floor. As it now stands, the roof of that part of the building will actually be a floor, so that in the future, if you need to add on, it has a support structure to be able to add another floor onto it. No, I think that's about it. That's what I have for my notes anyways. I want to just make sure we're all on the same page as far as how the process works. So we're still dealing with a concept in terms of square footage. There'll be a floor plan, but it's not a design. When this goes to design, we all have input to be able to move things around and change things. It could be something big, like instead of going with a masonry building, it would be a wood building, or it could be nuances like moving a bathroom or changing where the doors are coming out of the cell area. But those are decisions that will be made down the line. So I guess the other thing, we're going to meet with Tecton tomorrow. Believe they're going to have the elevations for us. We can turn them loose to do the estimate. So I guess the question is, do you want to see the floor plan before that is done, or as the estimate's being done? If so, we need to kind of pick some dates so we can get back to Tecton when they'll be available. I thought they said it was going to be 2 or 3 weeks
About
to do
3
an
weeks.
estimate. So I don't know how you all schedules work. Do we throw a few dates out the end of the month, beginning of May? I thought that Wednesdays worked out better because I think this room is more free on Wednesdays than Tuesdays and Thursdays from what I recollect.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
What day is this room more available, you said?
It seems like Wednesdays. I know that Tuesdays there's a lot of conflicts. with
Tuesday
it.
you run into the zoning board or the planning board, and Thursday is the vice versa to that.
So, course, I came up here without a calendar.
So there's April 20th, which is a Wednesday, and there's April 27th.
And how about we shoot for maybe the first Wednesday in May, if that is an option?
May 4th?
Yes. I think that works.
Does that work for everyone on the council, those dates?
Yeah, it works
Yeah.
for me.
We're gonna pencil in both those dates? Or
I,
just one of the dates?
I'm sorry,
Are
what?
we gonna pencil in both those dates or just one of those dates?
Well-
And then
I
find
got-
out
I'm
which
gonna-
one?
I'm gonna
'cause we
pencil
need
in
to
all.
find out if Tecton is gonna be available as well.
Right, I'm gonna pencil in all three,
And then just let us
and
know.
we'll check with
Okay.
Tecton to see
Yeah.
as far as their availability and, with the schedule and with the estimate.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, sounds good, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, new business A, discussion by council vote or other action on abatements/supplementals. Ms. St. George?
I will be speaking for Ms. St. George tonight. I'm asking the town council to approve abatements in the total of $29,718.31. The first abatement is a tangible tax business closed in 2020, and the remaining amounts are a misdeed that was not recorded. So you will see that offset by a supplemental bill for the same exact amount.
So was this a property that sold and,
Yes, it was sold and the deed was not recorded on a timely manner, so she had to abate one property and supplement another, and you'll see that on the supplemental bill with the new owner's name.
So on the abatement, somebody had been paying the taxes on a house for 4 years that they didn't own?
No, I think that's how she found it. They were not paying
Oh,
it.
they weren't paying it?
Right.
So we're
That's why
gonna,
she has to abate it.
so we need to abate it to take it off of the roll, so to speak, and then the next action will be to put it back on the roll as a supplemental
Correct.
with the people that did buy it will have to pay the back taxes on it, so to speak.
Correct, and a supplemental bill, we won't charge them, obviously, interest, since it was our error.
They're aware of that?
I didn't ask Ms. St. George that.
No.
I'm sorry, I did not ask her. I can.
Well, I'm just curious, because you're gonna hit
Yes.
somebody with a $29,000
Oh,
bill.
absolutely, absolutely.
I would think they would have
Do
been
you-
notified that there was an error.
Do you want to?
Obviously, they haven't been paying their taxes
Mm-hmm.
for 4 years, and so they didn't call and say, hey, I didn't get a tax bill either. So it kind of works both
sure they
ways.
still wouldn't call either.
Yeah,
I can reach out to her, if you want to table it till the end of the meeting, and I can reach out to her and ask her that question, whatever you want. me
no,
to
I'm all
do.
right.
Okay, all right, well, I can,
I make a motion that we approve the abatements at the recommendation of the finance director and the tax assessor in the amount of $29,718.31.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Alves?
Yes.
Mr. Corriveau?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara? Yes. Mr. Vadeney?
Yes.
the supplemental bill is, again, like I said, is for the same property with the new owners, and that supplemental bill total is $29,523.02.
Make a motion that we approve the supplemental tax bill of $29,523.02 on the recommendation of the tax assessor and the finance director.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Alves?
Yes.
Mr. Corriveau?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara? Yes. Mr. Vadeney?
Yes.
Okay, new business B, we're going to table that till the next meeting for the town administrator. C, discussion by council vote or other action on resignation from Christian D. Rezendes, North Smithfield Historic District Commission. And I believe there is a resignation letter in the packet.
Madam President, I make a motion that we accept with regret the resignation of Christian D. Rezendes from the North Smithfield Heritage Historic District Commission. I mean, we worked with them when we did this building. That's a great group of guys. He was a good part of that. He will be missed, so make a motion that we accept his resignation and send him a letter of thanks.
That's already been sent. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Dowd?
Yes.
Mr. Corriveau?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara?
Yes.
Mr. Badley?
Yes.
New business D, discussion by council vote or other action on trash and recycling contract extension with MTG Disposal 7/1/2022 through 6/30/2023. Mr. Pendergast?
Good evening. This is a one-year contract extension from the original four-year contract that expired June 30th of 2020. Inflation has not been good to us this year. The new contract rate is $683,548. The roll-off containers that leave the Public Works facility and go to the landfill have increased from $165 to $200 per empty. In addition to this extension, the same agreement stays in place with an additional $15,000 that is billed to MTG from Valley Disposal for the High Rock condominiums. So this comes out of the operational budget, and I'm seeking your approval on this one-year contract.
Madam President,
Mr.
I make a
Vadeney?
motion that we approve the contract extension to MTG Disposal LLC in the amount of $683,547.36. And that will come out of that will be budgeted in fiscal year 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
Do we need to have the administrator sign this as well?
Yes.
My motion include that we have authorize the administration to sign it.
And you second? Any discussion?
I just have a question. So after the one-year extension, at that point, then we will then go out to bid?
We actually could do one more. I'm not prepared to do that. I would like to test the waters. Things have really changed since COVID.
Yeah.
I'm not thrilled with this. So we're going to start preparing in October to go out to bid. And when we bid it, we're going to do it like we did several years ago. We're going to put down all sorts of ways of doing it, automation and manual. Usually the manual comes in better than the automation. So we're going to put it out there.
Okay, thank you.
There's fewer players in the game now, too.
Yeah.
They keep consolidating.
So I just have one question. So this 683,000 includes the 15,000 that for High Rocks?
No, it does not.
No.
It's 15,000 in addition to the 683,000. The 15,000 to the High Rocks is a separate from the original contract.
That's a separate line item, right, in the budget or something?
I believe so.
It's together, but because that's the max that we're gonna pay for them, remember, that was the agreement, if it goes over 15,000, so when MTG sends us the bill, once it caps over in 15,000, we're not paying anymore. And it is a separate line item on the invoice, but not on the budget.
So this whole talking about billing, so they bill High Rocks and we pay up to 15,000, is that? how's
No,
They bill.
Valley Disposal, who collects the trash, not the recyclables,
Yeah,
bills MTG Disposal, and MTG Disposal sends us
Bills
the
us.
bill.
okay,
It's a separate line rate on their bill, it says High Rocks rate on it.
okay, thank you.
They subbed out that job to Valley Disposal.
Correct. Yep. MTG still picks up the recyclables.
And is that an additional charge, or?
No, that's part of the
That's part of
original
that?
contract. And I think that with where I believe Councilor is going is, that's going to clean this up in the future, this agreement with High Rocks, hopefully.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Alves?
Yes.
Mr. Corriveau?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara? Yes. Mr. Vadeney?
Yes.
E, discussion by council vote or other action on authorization of contract addendum request number 1 for professional engineering services from Power Corporation and Maury Fire Tower. Mr. Pendergast.
Once again, I'm seeking your approval for the contract addendum for the Maury Fire Tower. They've already done their assessment. Now they're going to do a design of repairs and help us prepare to put this out to bid. The price of this two-par is $20,900.
Madam President, I make a motion that we approve contract addendum for professional engineering services to Park Corporation for the Maury Fire Tower for design for repair in the amount of $20,900. And authorize the administrator to sign it.
That's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
So, Cynthia, one question. So the funds are coming from the committed town council reservation. Is that the line that's actually for the Maury Tower?
Yes, we currently have $143,882 put aside for Maury Tower. That does not include, I think, what was it, 6,000 that we paid already for the original? Was it 6?
Yeah,
Around there, that doesn't
69 or
include
something like
that. And we're also going out for some grants for that too also, so hoping that we get them. But right now, there's 143,000 in that account
All right, thank
for
you.
just Maury Tower.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Alves?
Yes.
Mr. Corriveau?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara? Yes. Mr. Vadeney?
Yes.
Thank you.
New business F, discussion by council vote or other action on police vehicle insurance replacement. Cynthia?
Yes, I'm asking the town council to approve if the purchase of replacement vehicle that was declared total loss due to an accident. Detective Donovan did go out for 3 bids from the MPA or the Rhode Island and the Massachusetts MPA. And the lowest quote was from Colonial Municipal Group in the amount of $33,832.35. He also asked Island Tech Solutions. He will be driving the vehicle from Colonial Municipal Group to Island Tech Solutions, where they will be removing all the equipment from the old vehicle to put it into the new vehicle. And that amount is $5,725.65. I did receive a check from the Rhode Island Interlocal Trust for the amount listed on the memo, less $240. So I did receive a check for $46,503.09 last Thursday, and we just deposited it. So it more than covers the damaged vehicle and the equipment that needs to be moved over or replaced.
We have a motion to accept this recommendation.
I'll make a motion just so we can get the discussion that, make a motion that we approve the purchase from Colonial Municipal Group for a replacement vehicle in the amount of $33,833.35 and vehicle equipment from Island Tech Solutions in the amount of $5,725.65.
So motion, is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, under discussion. So Cynthia, the trust paid us $46,000 and we're only spending $33,000 to buy another one.
And I
Is it-
will be contacting them to ask them about what I do with the surplus funds. The last time I did ask them that, it was very minimal. It was like $200, and they told us to just keep it, but with this difference, I will feel more comfortable by me contacting them.
Why such a difference? Are they buying, is this a used vehicle that they're buying from Colonial?
No, it's actually a 2021, but I don't know if it has any miles on it or anything. It's a 2021 Ford Police Utility All-Wheel Drive. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know if it,
No, it's a 2022.
Isn't the estimate 2021? Police
CMG
utility?
gave us a 2021.
Oh, 2021, yeah. The one from McGovern was a,
Yeah, so
2022.
I'm not sure. I mean, I would imagine it's new. He didn't say anything about it being used.
yeah, it may be a leftover. It's brand new, but it's a
Probably
leftover,
a
maybe.
leftover, yeah. Maybe he has a few miles from the salesman. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not exactly sure. But I thought that was a good deal. I don't know. Usually we pay a lot more for that than that for SUV. No, it says new, actually. I got the bill here,
Oh, okay,
because he wants to check tomorrow. It says new under where it says new and used.
okay. So it might just
It
be.
has
it might
50
ju-
miles on it.
Yeah, it's a leftover. It's a
yeah.
leftover.
Mhm,
Not a bad deal for us, I guess.
mhm.
I mean, it's not a good deal that we had one total, but
No, it's not. Yes.
I wasn't even aware of that.
That the car was totaled?
Yeah, that we had a police officer. I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah.
We'll talk with the administrator next time he comes in. Maybe he could give us a heads up so we're aware of something like
So
that when
we
it
know we're
happens.
down.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I'm not even aware till I get this, so.
So we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Corriveau?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara? Yes. Mr. Vadeney?
Yes.
All right, new business G, discussion by council vote or other action on amendment of town charter, Article 8, Section 3, the budget. Cynthia?
Yes, I'm asking, at the direction of the solicitor, I'm asking the town council if I can, I guess it's a referendum during November's voting. I am requesting that the town charter, Article 8, Section 3 be amended with the sentence where it says, "These estimates accompanied by a statement of recommendations from the town administrator shall be presented to the budget committee by the second Monday in March." I would like it to say the second Monday in April, and there are many reasons why. It's not feasible to get all the information that the town administrator needs to compose his budget by that date, and what ends up happening, there's many various different versions of his budget. It becomes cumbersome and confusing. For instance, we don't even get the Blue Cross Blue Shield rates until, I think we got them like the third week of March. We haven't even gotten property tax rates. These are big items, big ticket items that we can't even amend his budget for now, even if we got the property tax rates, which we don't even get till May. There's several things that I see in the last 5 years that I've been doing this, that it's almost impossible for him to get a good estimate of his or hers budget without having to change it 5 or 6 times throughout the year. And from past experience, I know that people would be getting angry because we would update the town administrator's budget on the website, and then you have the right version, or they didn't look at the date or whatsoever. So I'm just asking the council to please consider changing it from March to the second week in April. Give us a little bit more time, more accurate, better estimates.
I sat on the budget committee.
Excuse me?
Ms. Alves sat on the budget committee. And the administrator's not here, so I'm not really picking on him, but the administrator submits a budget. Doesn't really matter when he submits a budget. The budget committee, with the finance director, can amend those numbers by charter. And then, obviously, the town council can amend any numbers.
Of course.
So as the numbers change, it has no effect really on don't change the administrator's recommended budget. That doesn't change.
Right.
I understand that as you get updated numbers, I've done this from the school side of things, I've done this from the town side of things. And I understand Blue Cross is gonna come in with their rate increase the third week of April. that's when you're gonna get it. And so
Actually, we got it earlier this year.
usually,
we
it's
already got it.
usually it's like the third week of April
Mhm.
when you get it,
Mhm.
for both the town and
Mhm.
so they submit a budget, and it's no different than the school. The school has the same issue. They start working on a budget in November,
Right.
so they can submit it to the administrator in January, and so the whole process. If we sit back and don't do the administrator's budget till the second week of April, you're giving the budget committee 5 weeks to do the budget, because they need to submit their budget to us the first week of June.
Mhm.
This was a discussion that we had in the Charter Review Commission a few years ago about the timeline and how to, and trying to address it and everything. And that really is like the latest you really want to start changing that budget.
Mhm.
I understand the variables that change, and that comes into play with the budget committee, not with the administrator's budget. He makes a recommended budget, and once he makes that recommendation, it's really supposed to be frozen at that point.
And it is.
And then the budget committee works on it, and they
Right.
make a recommendation to the council that they can get those updated numbers, and this is why it differs from the administrator,
Right.
up or down. And that's just my experience of doing it. And so
Absolutely.
if we move that another month out, you're cutting the budget committee a month out of their deliberations. And so
Well-
you really shorten that window. And you gotta watch out for that June 1st, or the first Monday in June, for them to submit to the council, because then we have to look at it. We have to have a public hearing, we have to post a public hearing, and then we have to actually set, so you can't compress this thing so tight that no one can act on it. And I understand your concerns, and I just don't agree that we need to change the date of his submission on the budget. That the budget committee can update those numbers, and the council actually, when I was on the budget committee, I think you were on the council at the time, yeah, we were in the second week of June, and we were amending our recommendation because we were getting updated numbers from the finance director that were actual, closer to what was there.
Mhm.
And the council, and I wouldn't have the same, no problem doing that with the budget committee now, that as you get a better number, even if you submit something in June, and then you come in and say, the second week of June, you have a different number that you know is more accurate, then we make that change when we look at the budget.
Okay. And that's a valid point, but in the last 5 years that I've been doing this, right now, I have it down to a calendar. I have it so set to a calendar that every department almost has the same date every year to present their budget to the budget committee. Now, the administrator does not present to the budget committee until the 21st, I think it is. Yeah, because I'm on vacation. The 22nd, I planned that purpose. No, so I'm only kidding. He'll be presenting his budget on the 22nd to the budget committee, like going over it line by line, date by date. Even though they already have the copy, he's gonna go line by line. Then the budget committee meets for the next 4 or 5 weeks and does their budget. I guess, I mean, it's up to you all. I don't see it feasible. It's not working. It's not working.
If I may,
Yeah, go
if
ahead.
you want to go in and start amending the charter, then I think you need to stop and look at the whole charter again, because there were a lot of recommendations that were made previously
Mhm.
that got put on the back burner and weren't changed. There are things in the charter
Yes, a lot.
they're not accurate, don't follow state law, they don't follow our own ordinances, and we pushed them aside and didn't make any of those changes. And so there's a lot of inaccuracies and updates that need to be made to the charter, but if you start going through and making this one little amendment on this one, it ripples through in a lot of other places that you have to watch out. And I'm not even sure in the charter, when the budget's submitted and when, there's 2 dates that don't line up
Right.
in the charter.
It's a lot
They
of
conflict
things.
each other.
Mhm.
And that was one of those things that didn't get
And it's
fixed
unfortunate,
before.
yeah.
Didn't
It's
get fixed
unfortunate because
before.
nobody, like, even when they were doing the charter review, nobody asked the finance director for her opinion on anything.
Oh, we did.
Well, then he asked me,
We did.
not since I've been here.
Well, no, it was before you.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's just a recommendation that I have because every year, I get asked about this, and every year, I have to, like, defend it. Because it's just not feasible. he's gonna have all wrong numbers. It's just not making any, it just doesn't make sense to me to present very inaccurate numbers. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
But, and I understand your point of view, because when I read this, I was like, wow, we're really cutting it short for the
Right,
budget
yeah.
committee, because as it is, they only meet once a week, which is, a
Yeah.
lot, and meeting with all the departments, but for the operating part of the budget, I mean, that should be pretty straightforward.
Right.
It's really, like you were saying, it's the benefit piece, property taxes,
yeah.
but the biggest part of the budget should be pretty much easy to, not easy to do, but pretty
Right.
streamlined, that you don't need those items right in the beginning, and then
Right.
you go back and you start tweaking them. But I think to be taken away over a month at a time for the
Yeah.
budget committee, because it is helpful when you're on the budget committee to see the different, the
different versions.
recommendations and who's, asking for what, and I don't really agree with moving it to that time frame, and just know that, when we're going in, that this is gonna be a moving document until we actually present, and,
Okay,
because I think we'd just be putting way too much pressure on the budget committee.
okay. I understand. I respect your opinions.
But I do
It was
have to,
just a thought process. It was just a thought that I just get attacked all the time about the timing of this, and sometimes it's just not feasible. Sometimes we miss it by a week or two, and, and I just, we just do the best we can, and with what we have, and it is what it is.
The date actually got moved further out, because it used to be earlier than that the
Really?
budget was due.
Yeah.
It used to be due in January. And the budget committee had 16, 17 weeks to do the budget.
I do want to add one more thing, though, Cynthia. I was on the budget committee prior to you and during your tenure, and I do have to say, it does run very streamlined right now.
Thank you.
Because you have it worked, I mean, you're basically running the budget committee, and you're helping them
Yeah.
guide through, so I just want to say that it is really streamlined, but I still think they need the extra time.
Thank you.
It just cuts it too
Yeah,
tight.
it does,
Yeah.
especially when it's just
5 weeks
one
is too
meeting.
tight for
Yeah.
that group to really go through it and make a good recommendation.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, and I did, educate the town administrator too, that his budget is set, we cannot change it, we're not going to change it because of that confusion when I first started, where we had so many different versions, and
Yeah,
I didn't know
you
we
can't-
couldn't
you-
change it. It was my
yeah.
first year, I was just,
You can't do that.
so he understands that, so he's just gonna mention certain things at his meeting, that if he knows of things that change, so the budget committee knows to change their version, and that, he knew about it.
Like, they're gonna,
So-
you're gonna submit a budget,
Mhm.
and I don't care if you submit it when you want, on the second Monday in April.
Mhm.
You know what you're not gonna have still? You're not gonna have solid revenue numbers. You're still not gonna know that piece. That's still the big variable that's out there that gets filled in. You make
Yeah.
good estimates on it, and a lot of times it's pretty close, but that's the big variable. And so you gotta look at your operational budget, which, like you said, is,
Yeah, I mean,
it goes up to 2% to 3% or whatever. All your contractual stuff is already set and everything. Yeah, and your benefits is a question mark, but
Mhm.
for the most part, a lot of it kind of flows pretty decently. And
Mr. Clifford, do you have a question? I saw your hand.
Question and a comment. First of all, I
Comment,
think,
got it.
as Paul said, that month has been moved up. It was originally January, and I think it was done in 2014, according to the notes on the bottom of that thing. But it was much earlier. And secondly, when you comment that, I don't agree with moving it up either, because it's hectic having it on the budget.
glad
But
you
the
agrees
other
with me.
thing is, I guess every
Mark the
budget committee
gallon.
does it differently, but if we have, I think when we did it several years, we did the administrative budget first, and then we felt like it saved us, or made it a little more efficient, because when we had each department head in, we could ask the administrator why he was recommending a lower number or a higher number. So to get, so even if you did that, there'd be no option of, well, let's look at the administrative budget first, because he recommends for each department. And then you have to keep it back together backwards. I don't think it makes any sense. And there's a lot of communities that still have to have their budgets in, the administrator or the mayor budgeting in January. They're not all pushed up to, May.
I think the budget
Very
committee has a
good
hard
points.
enough job,
Yeah.
but to give them even less time, I think it's gonna
5 weeks is
it's
way-
gonna make it really stressful for them to try and get this done, and And going forward, to have other budget committees are gonna be like, I can't, I don't have the time to do this in, 5 weeks, so. Okay, item H, discussion by council vote or other action on memorandum of understanding, Rhode Island Division of Taxation and the Town of Smithfield tax set-off. Cynthia?
Yes, this is a program that the state of Rhode Island launched probably quite a few years ago, because when I was the finance director at Central Falls, we had this set up. And basically, it's an MOU between us and the town, and the state, giving them permission to garnish people's refund checks if they owe the town any taxes. So basically, what we do is we send our taxpayers a letter in November telling them that if they do not pay by December 31st for their overdue taxes, that we're going to send that amount to the state of Rhode Island, and when they file their taxes, if they have any refunds, just for the state, not federal, it will be garnished just like child support gets garnished, just like if you have a lawsuit, it gets garnished from your refund, same thing. And every week, the state will give us a list of who they garnished and how much money, and they put it right into our account. It worked very, very well in Central Falls. You won't believe how many people come in before December 31st to make that payment. Just like tax sale. When we have tax sale, we had 20-something properties. How many went up to tax sale that day? 6. Why? Because they received a letter saying it was going to go to tax sale. So I'm asking the town council to allow the town administrator to sign an MOU with the state. There's no money exchange, it's just permission for us to use those services, basically. And obviously, I didn't meet the deadline for this year because the taxes are due in, 11 days. But we can still go forward, and anybody that files late, we can still tag them, or we can wait until November and start it in November. It doesn't matter to me. But I just wanted to get it signed. I did have a meeting with the state, and we have the letter, we have everything ready to go. The software company knows what they have to do to tag the overdue amounts. And I just need your permission to have the town administrator sign for the MOU with the state.
So is this any tax that they would owe the town, excise tax as well as property tax?
It will mostly be motor vehicles, and I'm gonna tell you why. Tangibles is not sometimes linked to somebody's social security number, is linked to a TIN, which is a company. So we can't tag a company refund. And real estate goes to tax sale. So before this even reaches here, it will go to tax sale. So it's mostly motor vehicle, to be honest with you. At least that's what I saw in the past. It was all motor vehicles.
Okay.
So Cynthia, I know we talked about this
Mhm.
several times, so I'm glad to see it's finally
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
So now, there's no fees, do they?
No fees.
Now, if the taxes are really delinquent, do they collect finance charges too, or just the straight tax?
They collect everything we tell them to collect. The finance charges are on there. Now, they'll freeze the finance charges, so unfortunately, they're not gonna calculate finance charges for us. So if we suppose we send the report December 31st, it's gonna freeze right there and then. So if they collect it in April, we're just gonna have to accept what we get. But it works out really well. I mean, we collected a lot of overdue. And believe it or not, people that move to other towns, they find them because they don't miss out on getting their refunds. So those were the ones that we really, really got revenue from, is the ones that would move out of North Smithfield. We couldn't locate them. But they still file taxes in the state of Rhode Island, so.
So do you happen to know offhand, like right now, I just looked at our tax abatements. Do you know what we've abated so far in motor vehicle, just for an example of what we could have possibly collected if we were in this earlier?
Okay. Well, actually, no, because we did just penalties. So we haven't abated
We
real
haven't-
tax dollars yet.
Okay.
But we have a lot. We have still, don't quote me, but probably like $700,000 of motor vehicles out there that we can collect.
Okay, so it's worth it.
Thousands.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's no statute of limitations on this refund situation. We can't take them to court after 10 years, but we can certainly, you know what I mean, collect everything under 10 years through this. And we won't have to pay the fee that we pay to the collection agency. So that's another option. Although they already have our files, but the newer files, I won't send it to them. I'll send it to here first, and then if we're not successful, then I'll send it to the collection agency.
So walk me through, is the state, the Division of Taxation, are they the debt collector?
Kind
Where-
of, if you want to look at it that way.
So
They'll
then-
send. Go
So
ahead.
then, once they get the owed back taxes, what's the turnaround of them providing it to the town?
It's pretty fast. I mean, I've seen it where some people will come in with a letter from the state saying, you have a refund coming, but the city of Central Falls is taking this much if you don't. So it's pretty fast. It's probably a 30-day turnaround. Like, as soon as they see the refund coming through their taxation department, it's tagged by their social security number or whatever they tag it by. And they send them a letter saying, your refund is less this much because we sent the town of North Smithfield this much. And there has been situations where they've paid and we tagged their refund where we have to give them a refund because it just crossed. the
But
mail.
prior to that transition over to the state, we then act as the debt collector up until that point, whatever trigger time that is. Like, for example, if we're not just gonna hand over, a bunch of motor vehicle taxes over to the state and have them kind of target people that owe, we're gonna probably transition that at a certain point to the state? Am I understanding that correctly?
I think that's exactly what they're gonna do, is when, I don't pay
It's
my tax
delinquent.
on my vehicle.
Yes,
You're gonna let the state know.
Yes.
If I get a refund,
yes,
pay us first.
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's how it works. It's that
Just like-
simple.
Yes.
It's that
And it's
simple.
only delinquent taxes. It's not like up to date.
Right, right,
We're not
right.
gonna garnish your refund because you haven't paid your 2021 bill. We're talking about like old ones,
Got it.
you know? We just need to do something because there's just so much motor vehicles.
This is just
out.
another avenue
Yes.
that we can collect on top of our
Yes.
debt agency that we have
Yes.
working for us.
Yes.
So this is a little simpler.
Yes, and we get the money put in our account weekly by the state through RIPay. And then they send us a report. It's just really, can't believe we haven't done it sooner.
Madam President, I make a motion that we approve the memorandum of understanding request to set off with the Rhode Island Division of Taxation in the town of North Smithfield and authorize the administrator to sign it.
That's a motion. Is there a second? Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Alves?
Yes.
Mr. Corriveau?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara? Yes. Mr. Vadeney?
Yes.
All right, new business I, discussion by council vote or other action on service agreement, BidNet Direct. Cynthia again?
Okay, so BidNet Direct is an online portal that, actually the school uses it, a lot of town use it, and it's somewhere where I can upload all our RFPs and RFQs. And it goes out to, you have to go see the website, the whole country. And I just got told about it because I had called about another bid that I needed help with, and I called Providence, and the purchasing clerk there said, "You're not on BizNet Direct?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Well, apparently even our school is on it, and I didn't know anything about it. It doesn't cost us any money at all. And basically, I just put in the road one up. They let me put it in without the signature. They said I can try it, so I put in the road one. And it tells me who downloaded our documents, who it went to. There's even companies, if I say it's for roads, it'll go to certain companies that there's a bid out for the town of North Smithfield to do such and such roads. It's phenomenal. It's very user-friendly. I learned it within a couple, they gave me a training. They keep, sending me emails if I need help with anything. It's just a basic way of soliciting for RFP and RFQs at no cost to the town. And the school is using it. I didn't even know about it. It's basically just an agreement of services. And I'm just asking the town council to allow the town administrator to sign it. And like I said, there is no funds. It doesn't cost the town anything to be on this. Basically, we just had to put a link on our website under RFPs and bids. And basically, when you link on that, you get on their website. And then it shows everything we have out for bid. It's just something that's free, and I just haven't been getting any good luck with newspaper ads. I don't think anybody reads the paper anymore.
People don't read newspapers anymore, and that's
So
part of
I
the
just
problem.
haven't been getting anything. I mean, all the bids I put out, nobody's answering anything. I had to do something, so
Try it.
we'll try it.
Madam President, I make a motion that we enter an agreement and authorize the administrator to sign the agreement with BidNet Direct.
That's a motion. Is there a second? Any further discussion?
You know, this is like a clearinghouse for all of your bid documents and whatnot and everything. It's sort of like when you do a construction, the Dodge report is out there, you put in the Dodge
could put
report. And
whatever I
everybody
want.
that's
Everybody
in
can see
construction
it.
gets it, and so this will put you out there to a lot more people, and if
And
more
it's-
people that use it, the more people will see it.
Right. And
Like
it's countrywide, like it's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
But I
Like,
mean, just in the state, if more people are using it, if the school is using it, and province
Yes.
is using it and
Yep.
whatnot, then that means that there are vendors that are looking at it, and so
Exactly.
it'll be
Yep.
helpful.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please. Yes.
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 New business, J, discussion by council vote or other action on Halliwell Water and Sewer Department. Cynthia?
Hi, I'm asking the town council, it came to my attention, well, when we were doing the budget, we've been paying a lot of money for Halliwell to just sit there. And came to my attention that we were paying 13 units at $35 apiece per quarter for water that we don't even use there. I talked to Maura, and she says the only thing we can do is reduce that to 0, so we don't get the $467 quarterly, but we'll still pay for the water that we use. And I'm just asking town council to approve, since, you're the body that looks over the water department. I'm requesting to reduce the additional units fee for Halliwell quarterly bill from 13 to 0, at least until it's occupied or decided upon on what we're gonna do with it.
David, is that because we sit as the Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners? So we can act and bring this to 0? Hearing that, Madam President, I make a motion that we move that number to 0. The additional units from 13 to 0.
That's a second. Any further discussion?
Does this have any impact on it doesn't impact our water uses there, though? I mean, I know
No,
we're
we'll
not
still
using,
get-
I know we're not using water, like in that period, we used 100 gallons of water.
Yeah.
According to the thing, so maybe there's a leak somewhere. But does this gonna impact, like, with the garden, when they run the water down there?
That's, actually, that's gonna be run off a fire hydrant, we're tapping into that, which will be metered.
Okay. I mean, I'm not against him watering the garden, I'm just curious to see, is it
We'll
coming?
still pay for the water, though.
Okay,
Yeah, so we're paying for something that's not even.
right.
It's just crazy. It's 13 buildings, 13 units, 400,
Mhm. Yep.
it's $2,000 a year we're paying for
Yeah.
something we're not using.
Yeah, good catch. Good
Yeah,
catch.
Actually, you can, Maura, thank you, if you're listening. Maura's great.
All
Yeah.
right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please. Yes.
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 Okay. Make a motion to go into executive session. A, discussion by council vote or other action on Rhode Island General Law 42-46-5A2, sessions pertaining to pending litigation opioid class action suit. 1, review Rhode Island Memorandum of Understanding between the state and cities, towns receiving settlement funds. 2, approval and execution of Rhode Island Memorandum of Understanding between the state and cities and towns receiving settlement funds. B, discussion by council vote or other action on Rhode Island General Law 42-46-5A2, sessions pertaining to municipal court case 06022-021, in compliance with the court order to clean the property at 282 Quaker Highway, Donald and Dorothy Desper, property owners. 1, discussion by council vote or other action on 3 quotes presented by finance director.
So moved.
Is there a second? Roll call?
Ms. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Corriveau?
Yes.
Ms. O'Hara? Yes. Mr. Badner?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.